Why do your labs keep coming back normal, but you still feel terrible? If you've ever left a doctor's appointment feeling confused because you were told that your labs are all normal, but you still feel exhausted, foggy, inflamed, unwell, well, you're not alone, okay? And you're not imagining things either. Let me explain something important. Standard laboratory testing is designed primarily to detect diseases, okay? So it's not always designed to detect early dysfunction. There's a difference between disease threshold and optimal function. Let's talk about a few examples here. Your thyroid stimulating hormone, that's the TSH, may fall within the lab reference range, but the thyroid hormone still has to convert into its active form inside the cell. However, inflammation, stress, and nutrient depletion can impair that conversion, even when the TSH looks normal. Another example is the fasting glucose, which may be normal, but the fasting insulin level is rarely checked. Well, early insulin resistance can exist in your body for years before your blood sugar rises into the diabetic range. So you may not be diabetic, but your energy level may already be affected. Similarly, your inflammatory markers may fall within range, but chronic low-grade inflammation doesn't always show up dramatically on standard panels. Another one that affects a lot of people is cortisol, and that's if it even gets tested because it's not really one of the common tests that we do. Cortisol may test normal on a single blood draw, okay? But cortisol usually follows a rhythm throughout the day, all right? And that rhythm isn't captured by a single snapshot. So what does this all mean? It means that you can feel unwell even when your labs do not meet the criteria for disease. Now, this doesn't mean that your doctor is wrong, okay? It just means that medicine is generally structured around diagnosing diseases, that's all, and not necessarily on optimizing our biological resilience, okay? Therefore, symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, poor recovery, digestive sensitivity, hormone fluctuations, etc., these often reflect a strain in your internal environment long before the disease thresholds are crossed. Think of it like this. If someone is running towards the edge of a cliff, the lab panel will detect when they fall. Okay, but functional strain shows up when they're approaching the edge. And that early strain is often reversible, okay, when we stabilize blood sugar, improve sleep, reduce inflammatory load, support mitochondrial function, regulate stress physiology, and then your energy will often improve. Inside my comprehensive holistic recovery program, we focus on improving your biological resilience, not necessarily on chasing lab abnormalities, although we do have some labs that you can do, okay? However, you move through a guided process where you learn how to use strategic nutrition and lifestyle changes to stabilize your insulin signaling, support thyroid function through nutrient repletion, improve your gut balance, regulate cortisol rhythm, reduce systemic inflammatory load, and rebuild your cellular energy. You're given a clear roadmap and education on how your physiology works and some sample meal frameworks, as well as tools that you can adapt to your own life. This is not about obsessing over labs, okay? It's about understanding that your body can feel strain before it meets the criteria for disease. However, like I said, we also have some labs available for you. You have the option of getting some functional labs to give you some early information regarding your daily cortisol rhythm, okay, like we talked about before, and your mitochondrial health. If that sounds interesting to you, you can just visit our lab shop using the link in the description section of this video, and you'll see the labs that we have to offer, okay? And if you've ever been told that everything is normal, but you clearly don't feel normal, I also created a free e-guide for you called Understanding Chronic Fatigue. It walks you through how early dysfunction is often missed, how factors like inflammation and insulin resistance can affect your energy, and what signs to pay attention to, and where you can begin safely. You deserve more than reassurance, all right? You deserve understanding, okay? And your symptoms deserve context. I'll see you next time.